Okay. What's up, brews and brunettes? It's the Pico Dudes. I'm Sam Rather, and with me, the man who wants to screw the dark brew. Oh my god, I had something completely different. It's Jeremy Hidalgo.
Oh, dude.
This isn't starting well.
Well,
Do we cut that part?
should we cut that or just drink and keep going?
Drink
Keep going.
with us.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is one of those times where I'm super happy to drink. So why don't we introduce the brew that we're going to talk about today? What have you made for us?
This is Banger Brewing Black IPA. Banger.
Could you say again, what was that?
Black IPA.
Okay. So a black IPA, which is just like a regular IPA. Stop. But more dark, chocolatey, malty. So you still have high alcohol. You still have a lot of hop.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters of these black IPAs is tons of hop, but still using the darker malts. And as you can see, this is a dark beer. Spoiler, this is a SRM of almost 40. So dark beer, but with a ton of hop. And another spoiler, I kind of like it. We've kind of been drinking some
I kind of
of
like
it,
it too.
and I kind of like it.
I really do. It's got enough bitter.
My tasting notes are just
It's got enough bittering to counteract all of the additional hop aromas that you get, and some of the there's a little bit of a citrusy flavor to it, and like a normal IPA would have, but then there's just this round, like malty balance to it that I really enjoy.
totally giving away the ending.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. And with that, Pico Dude's out.
Nice try.
Shortest episode ever. So let's start with Banger Brewing, because these guys are really cool. And I say guys, Banger Brewing it was started by 5 guys. And they all spent a long time working together in the hospitality industry down in Las Vegas. So they got to work together at I don't know, maybe you can guess where it was. Have you ever been to a hotel that had the coolest yet most annoying drone show you've ever seen?
Drone show?
Yeah.
No.
Just thousands of drones just floating around in the air making shapes over a bunch of fountains.
Oh, like at the Bellagio?
Yes,
Okay.
like at CES.
Yeah, those drones, by the way, when they're not doing the fountain show, they're like spying on hotel windows of all the other rival hotels.
Exactly. So these people all work together. 5 individuals work together at the Bellagio, and spend a lot of time getting to know each other, developing a love for the crafts industry, restaurant industry, service industry, and they finally had kind of, I think, separated a bit and come back together. 15 years this went on, and said, hey, you know what? We want to do something together. Let's build a craft brewery in Vegas.
It's a great idea.
Not a place known for its craft breweries, by the way. Place known for its alcohol.
Yeah.
Most alcohol consumed per capita of anywhere in the world. But not a place known for its craft breweries. So they traveled around, looked at a number of breweries in the area, that whole Southwest region, worked on creating their own brewery, and they brought in a guy, Michael Banger Beeman. Banger, it's kind of a nickname.
Okay, got it.
And he became the brewmaster and also sort of namesake of Banger Brewing. So they're right there. We've been down in Fremont District.
Yeah, in fact, my brother works there at Atomic Liquors.
There,
yeah, we've been in there. We checked it out.
We've drunk that place a few times, that area.
Oh yeah, we've enjoyed that. But you know what? I didn't know Banger was down there. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to go there.
We're totally, especially after tasting this, we are going to be there probably January.
Sounds good.
We'll go hit it up. But like I said, they're doing some really neat things there, and they are setting sort of the craft beer standard there in Vegas. So
yeah,
thank you guys very much. We're looking forward to coming out and seeing you.
Yeah, first neat thing they're doing is this Pico Pack right here, this black IPA.
Goodness. And they have others. I'm getting their other Pico Packs, I can just say, after trying this.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this one. I had not tried it at all.
Until we took our pre-sips.
So it fermented. I'll tell our pre-drinks. So I'll tell you how I brewed it.
How'd you brew it?
As per recipe. I basically got the Pico Pack, opened it up, put it in the machine, and let it go. It fermented for 15 days, so I let it hang out in the fermentation. I cold crashed it for one
day.
I put it in the refrigerator last night.
Oh my gosh!
And then I force carbonated it today.
Like when today?
Like at 2,
Like 3 hours ago.
like at 2:00.
So those people who are like, hey, I brewed a great beer and I think it's going to be good, but I got a party tomorrow. I don't have time to get this thing carbonated.
So I've got a method to force carbonate your beer that quickly.
To speed carbonate your beer.
And we'll call it like a
It's
pico
worked.
hack.
I've done this before with them.
We'll call it a pico hack and we'll do a video on it. But I will say I did post a picture at one point that showed a cascade of beer all over my kitchen because I did a bad job. And I allowed the pressure to build way too high and shoot the regulator out the top of my serving keg and just, oh God, it was horrible.
Yes.
Still, my wife finds spots of beer from that incident.
My wife.
Which we call it. We call it the beer incident.
The incident.
The great incident of 2018. And she reminds me every time she finds a spot of beer.
I can't imagine that.
I am still finding all these beers from that one time that, anyways.
One time. So tell us about your method, though, because I think we have listeners that would love to know, hey, if I want to carbonate a beer this morning that I can drink this afternoon with my friends, what would I do?
So first you have to cold crash it at least 24 hours.
Yeah, can't just do it with the warm beer.
Second, rack it right into your serving keg. So this is a method that I've actually used. I've got a bigger corny keg and I've got a kegerator set up that I still use today. And what I had prior was basically I would put it on the outspout or the inspout, and I put a long...
put what on the inspout?
I would put the carbon dioxide on the in or outspout. First, I was doing it on the outspout, which is...
You got spouts?
Yeah, there's the longer dip tube that goes down and allows the CO2 to permeate through the liquid as it's injected into the container.
You're not talking about this serving keg. You're talking a traditional brewing.
Yeah, for a corny keg, for 5 gallon or your smaller corny kegs.
Yes.
The other thing I did was I would put it on the inspout, CO2, and I would have a clear tube that went to what they call a beer stone. So essentially it was the stone that had like micro fine holes in it, and it diffused the CO2 or the carbon dioxide.
The beer stone of the bear.
Yeah, and it allowed you to force carbonate a beer in 15 minutes. So you can still do that even with these serving kegs.
Mosquito!
You can still do that even with these serving kegs. You missed. And
this will be way more fun to watch.
Yeah, I know, right? There's something going on.
It's a fairy.
What I do is I put the regulator on. I dial it up to almost
serving keg. Put the regulator on just like you're gonna force carbonate for a few days.
Exactly. Put it almost to the red line. So like
to the red.
So like 22, 23 psi.
Yep.
Lay it on its side. And
what?
Lay it on its side, and this is very important. So cold beer in your serving keg, and you've got to hold the regulator on just to make sure.
Yeah, because.
Also, I did this outside today, just in case.
Smart.
Yeah. And then you gently roll the serving keg back and forth. This looks horrible. So I'm not going to do the motion anymore. But you roll the serving keg back and forth for about a good 10-15 minutes. And what you can hear is you can actually hear like bubbles going into it sounds like somebody's blowing bubbles in your serving keg. That's actually the CO2 being forced out of the regulator, and the liquid is absorbing it. So that's how I quickly force carbonated this. And I'd say it could use maybe a little bit more carbonation, but not much. I think because it's a dark beer,
it's perfect.
Because it's a dark beer and it's got a good amount of bitter up front. If you get too much CO2 involved, then it starts to have a sharp bite to it.
And I have to say, coming out of the tap room, because you're doubling down. You've got a force fed system coming. Your turn. Get him. Oh, that's a whole nother.
That's a moth.
We've been infested.
You've got a menagerie of bugs in here.
Exterminator in here. They're loving these beers. Drunk moth. We're using the tap room, and so we have an additional CO2 that we are helping serve from, which is not necessarily adding any to the beer, but helping deliver it and give us a nice head. And
yeah, you can also force carbonate out of the tap room. I wouldn't, obviously you can't roll it around or anything like that. But if you give it like 2 days, you can do a very good job of getting the perfect amount of carbonation on the tap room.
How big is the CO2 tank on that tap room?
I don't remember.
Is it about this big?
It's bigger. It's like that big. It's like I think it's 9 ounces.
How long? How many
Or 3.5.
beers can you carbonate and serve with that? I understand if you're just serving, you can probably serve a lot of beer.
I think you can carbonate and serve like 2 beers.
Okay.
And that one served the Anadr barley wine that we just reviewed in the previous episode, which I just finished off last night. 2.5 weeks after doing the episode where we
out of a serving keg.
Yeah, out of a serving keg, and it was as fresh. It actually got better. It was as fresh as the day we first tapped it.
Fresh as the day it was born.
Which I think is a huge nod to what the tap room can do for you. So,
Tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap.
Thank you, tap room.
Yeah. I almost said you're welcome, like I had something to do with it.
You, tap room. So why don't we talk about this delicious beer you've made us? So on the website, it describes this thing as velvety mouthfeel, perfectly balanced with hop bitterness. And that's all it says. That's when you go and look at the description. So people may not be buying this off the store because that's not much description to run off of. But I think they nailed the description just to start.
Nailed it.
Totally nailed it. My first thought, I am drinking this out of my Guinness Pico Dude glass that was specially etched at some event we went to. And at first, I had mouthfeel and color of a Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
But then it hit with this hop.
Yeah, the presence is just,
hop presence. And you know me, not a hop head, not big on the big piney kind of hops. And I've really steered clear of a lot of hoppy beers. This isn't a low hop beer.
No, it's so I ended up putting the dry hops in about 5 days after I started the fermentation. Normally I do it about 3. Life got in the way. I remembered.
You forgot.
I remembered.
I just had one
5 days in. Yeah. So I got it in.
Days and I'm like, Argh!
And so the hops were in there about 15 days. They, like I said, they got
great.
They got racked today. So the hops were in there up until
this morning.
And but man, it's good. It doesn't have any of the grassy flavors that you sometimes get when you have your hops in the dry hopping in there for too long. Yeah. It doesn't. It's more of a citrusy, kind of a florally.
But it's weird because it's in a dark. I mean, there's dark malt. I don't know the malt used in this. It didn't list it. But this is a dark malt.
Yeah,
it's got to have some Maris Otter or chocolate.
Really nice roasty flavor.
Sure
like
does.
Like you said, with the Guinness and kind of a little bit of an espresso or man, it's just good.
And so, and I don't know if you know the stats on your beer, but I looked them up. Do you know what IBU you would place this at?
It was 92.
92.
Yeah.
I mean, ew, who wants to drink 92 IBU beer?
That does not taste like 92.
That doesn't, if I saw the stats, you're looking at the stats and 36, 24, 36 or whatever it might be. If you looked at the stats and I would go, oh, SRM of 39, IBU of 92, and an alcohol of 8.2%. And I'd be like, not for me.
Well, I would choose it because I love dark beer.
I see you showing off the I Love Dark Beer t-shirt.
Yeah, I'm not just pointing at my nipples.
Yeah, I shaved it on my chest, but I won't show anyone.
You did? Oh, that's incognito. They'll have to watch our video review on the tap room to see you shirtless.
Oh my gosh, that does not count. I hope that never posts.
That probably won't post. We need to redo that.
4 seasons with the tap room. Where were we again talking about? Oh, the stats. When you look at stats like that, I would normally say this isn't a beer for me.
Yeah.
That's a collection of big numbers that normally wouldn't draw me into drinking something, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, it's just so well balanced. It's just a good, full-bodied, well-balanced beer.
You're talking about dry hopping, and I have heard a number of people. This continues to be a subject that's discussed on the Facebooks, etc. When do you add your dry hop to your beer? And for a while, I was going with 3 days before you plan to rack, based off of something I thought I heard. And discovering that my beers did not have the full hop flavor and aroma I wanted. You've been going with 3 days after you add your yeast, right? So 3 days after fermentation starts?
Yeah. So I've been doing that, but I think there's really no wrong answer. I was doing that
wrong.
No, well, no. So there's a couple of schools of thought on this. Like I've been adding it 3 days after or 5 days after in this case. But because we have a podcast and because we've got a bunch of Pico packs that we're trying to run through and try and get ready and have stuff every week so we can release stuff, I feel like at times I'm sort of rushing the beers, just a little bit, pushing them maybe. Like, so Another Barley Wine was a good example. Sent Stephen Yahtzee.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, Stefan Yahtzee. Stefan Yahtzee. Sent him an advanced version of it. And besides the fact that we can't pronounce his name right, he did say, he was like, look, if you lay that beer down for a good 4 to 6 months and basically just cellar it, a lot of that alcohol flavor will sort of dissipate, and he's doing some really cool stuff with that beer. He's like adding oak to it, and he's doing just like adding a bunch of really cool stuff. I actually hope we get to maybe go explore,
get to see
explore that a little bit further. But the thing is with dry hopping. So when I first got into home brewing and I was doing extract home brewing and then all grain home brewing, like you would do a primary fermentation. You would do a primary fermentation, your big 5-gallon glass carboy. And when that was done after 7 to 14 days, just like we do at the Pico Brew, you would then rack it into another glass carboy. Yeah, more than 5 liters. And then you would then add your dry hops. And that could stay on for the same duration that you did the fermentation or longer. And so you can do the same thing with your Pico brews that you do there, which means you could go through your entire primary fermentation, rack it out of that serving keg, then add your hop packets and go another 7 to 10 days if you wanted.
Yep. But you should do more than 3.
You should definitely do more than 3.
And I've even heard of people who add it to their serving keg. And at first I was like, oh, that's crazy. Not a bad idea. I think we've even seen Denny come on and say, oh, yeah, I can see that. That's actually a way we do stuff sometimes. So I would say getting them in there early if you really want a distinct beer and not one of those, oh, every beer kind of tastes the same things. Get them in there early. Be aware that when you open up in your first 2 to 3 days of fermenting, you got a lot of that Kreuzen buildup that happens at the top of your brew keg. And if you just drop that hot packet, especially if it's not a ton, but you just drop the hot packets on there.
And if you're doing the way you should just take sanitized scissors, cut off the top of the plastic thing and dump those in there so you're not touching the hot packets. You shouldn't
be touching anything. So I do the same thing. Sanitized scissors, I sanitize the packet before I cut it open, and you drop it in there. You don't want that thing open for a long time. But the problem is you just drop it in there, close it up. You have that Kreuzen buildup. It can tend to float on the top and sometimes not even get down into the beer. So you have a method, I think, where you shake it up. I have a method.
I give it sort of a swirl, like a gentle swirl.
A gentle swirl.
I give it a swirly.
Oh, nice. I have something where I have a metal fork that has been sanitized that I use to... Why are you laughing?
Nothing. Nope, we're not going to go there on the podcast.
Middle fork. And I tend to thrust it into the liquid and hold it, kind of the package down until those dry hop packets absorb some moisture and are able to stay under that Kreuzen, because I've started adding much earlier too. And I've noticed a massive difference in my beer. So much more aroma, so much more flavor. I was worried that it would start to break down, that this grassy hop would break down and start giving me really weird, like, you clean out your mower bag, you forgot to empty it at the end of
like
fall.
Decomposition or something.
Yeah, and it does. I was surprised that I started going online learning, man, you can go a month or more. It takes a long time before that starts happening. Yeah. You don't have to worry that, 10 days, I better throw this beer out. It's not like that.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest danger is maybe adding it too early. So sometimes if you add it...
Too early?
Yeah, if you add it like
in the middle of the brew?
Or right away. Like if you... Well, yeah, in the middle of the brew. Or like as soon as it's like a day into fermentation. Or if you add the hops in before it even starts fermenting, you could maybe pick up a little bit of that grassy flavor.
Yeah. You want fermentation, wait for your ferment. You'll know. Yeah. If you open it up, or if you're not getting pressure on your Pico Firm, or...
Although I've done it before, And I think we had one of the episodes. I can't remember which one it was. I was going on vacation or something, and I had to throw those in because I had brewed them the night before.
IPA?
I think it was.
And you threw it in and it sat for like a month?
It sat forever.
It was really good.
Yeah, but I think because it sat for so long, you know, it was able to sort of clean up some of those flavors. But that's it's a danger you run, or a risk you run, I should say.
I'll take the risk.
Take the risk. So
getting to this beer, we've already given you kind of the abridged version, but
would you be so kind to pour me some more?
Let me do that. And I was gonna.
You were gonna talk, but I totally just cut you off because I need some more of this beer, and it's. We've talked a little bit about what we're tasting, and we've established that it's got a good.
Look at that beer.
Look at that pour.
Look at that good beer right there, and that's that pour with that perfect head that's just sticking there. That beer was force carbonated hours ago.
I wish you guys could smell this.
Yeah, I know.
It smells so good.
What are you picking up other than chocolate and espresso?
I mean, it's very hop forward.
But you get.
Yeah.
But what hop are you picking up? That's and I don't think. God, I can't remember if I remember the hops off this. They're not hops that I've seen used before in a beer.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm familiar enough with hops in general to be able to give a qualified answer to that. But it has that definite. So it's a upfront sort of a citrusy. I pick up a little bit of a grassy flavor, like a grassy aroma, but just a hint, and then it kind of fades away into a little bit of a like a.
I get a smoke. Do a slow. Dude.
Hold on.
You know what you do? Well, you could do that. You should start by a little
huff.
And don't take that long sniff.
This is riveting podcasting right here.
Hey guys, how would you like 30 more minutes of...
Listen to us snuffle our beers. Yeah, so there's a smokiness to it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hone in on the hop flavor. I'm almost getting a little bit of like a tropical, sort of a florally.
It's hard because we picked that up earlier, but when you combine that with the chocolate and the dark malt, it turns into more like a dark chocolate, not a dark chocolate, a bitter chocolate.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those chocolates
like
when you were a kid? Cacao. And you're like,
Cacao.
oh, I got this chocolate. It's going to be so good. And you take a taste, you're like, that is the worst chocolate I've
You're
ever had.
like, what the hell
did
I
you're
just...
a kid. And you're like, where's my Hershey's chocolate bar?
It's like grabbing Baker's chocolate when you're a kid and thinking you're about to be in for something. Yeah.
Flavorless stuff. But it's not like Baker's chocolate. This is like that cacao because it's got that bitter kick, but it's not a bad.
No,
it's all. It's delicious in this beer. And the hop, bring it. I want more IBUs. Give me all your IBUs right now because this is delicious.
I'm a fan. I was really scared. I was thinking this was going to turn out sort of like the Cinder Block Cascadian Dark IPA or Cascadian Dark Ale a little bit when
CDA.
Yeah, and
I don't remember. Was that one not great?
I don't know if I goofed it up, but it wasn't awesome.
It wasn't awesome.
Okay. It just wasn't awesome. It wasn't horrible, but it was sort of a subpar, slightly like maybe par beer. This one, in my opinion, is way better than. Yeah. I mean, this is. I think I can safely say it's cracking my top 10.
It's pry barring its way in there. I think this is going to be a great Halloween beer because I believe this episode will probably come out on Halloween.
Yes, it will. We are moving our release dates to Wednesday. So Wednesday evenings, our new podcasts will be released.
So what will be neat about that is nothing. I'm sorry.
What?
I was going to say it would be closer to when we podcast, but...
It'll be the same day that we're actually doing our recordings.
But it'll be a week after.
Yeah, it'll be a week after.
So it's going to be, we're going to be recording 1 week before it posts. Today is the Wednesday before Halloween, and so this will be posting in 1 week. And it's delicioso.
Yeah, and we're going to be...
Delicioso.
Delicioso. So we're also going to be running a campaign, right? We're looking to get more patrons and more YouTube channel subscribers.
Subscribe to us, please.
So if you can do this, we're looking...
If you can. For the 8 of you that know technologies,
No, not.
no. If you can do, I want to hear the if you can do this.
But if this is something that you believe in, if you want to hear more of what we're doing and you want to support our podcast, then we're gonna maybe ramp up our production level and see if we can hit like
level 2,
two episodes a week.
2 episodes. I'm gonna be so wasted.
Well, but that's the fun of it, right?
We will no longer take vacations or see our family. But no, so I am with Jeremy. We started this as a lark. We started this as for us, completely for us, which is why we are so inappropriate and so childish. And no apologies.
Also non-technical. Like,
oh god, we're idiots.
This has become a huge learning experience. Like we got comments at the beginning of like, well, it works really good. You set yourself up as the expert because you've homebrewed before. And then Sam
to be the moron.
Sam's like the guy who's just learning. I'm like, fucking, we're both just learning. And like, this is. I thought I knew a little bit about homebrewing. It turns out I knew a tiny bit about homebrewing.
We've learned so much through this journey.
Well, and we're gonna start taking so the YouTube channel will be a bigger presence. We're gonna be looking at creating more videos, more how-tos, more tips and tricks.
And then when we find out we're horrible at a how-to video, we're going to re-record and post a new one using all the great comments we're already starting to get.
Dude, we've had people that like, so we did one on the bottling and the racking and stuff, and we had great comments.
Great comments.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys did this.
Our listeners are so cool because they're not assholes. Thank you all for being not assholes.
I know.
Almost every bit of criticism, you might call it that, but it's really constructive feedback that we get is totally given in very constructive manner. And it's, hey, not, hey, you super morons, but maybe you guys should try this. And I'm like, oh, duh, yeah, we didn't mention that, did we?
Yes, yeah. Well, like we said, when you turn a camera on, it's different. When you know you're being recorded, it's a little bit different.
You forget everything you knew as soon as you're like
on the spot.
Yeah. So more videos, more content, better, what would you say, performance? Not performance quality. I can't. Production quality.
Better production quality because this all costs money. It takes time, and the more we can show our wives that there's some incentive behind it, the more we are going to be allowed to do. I mean, quite frankly.
Do we still have a brick wall behind us?
Yeah.
Is that what we're going to have? We should swap it out every episode. Totally throw people like
space.
I thought that. Oh my god! No, it's Halloween. You should put a Halloween backdrop in there.
See, this is going to take more time for me. Now I got to find.
We need at least one more Patreon so we can get a Halloween backdrop.
I'm going to find the sweetest Halloween backdrop. Though.
I am going to be so. You need zombies that walk back and forth like we're in a house.
Don't add motion to it. I know that's even harder to find.
There's zombie attack, and that's a window, and the zombies are pawing at it. If you can do that, Mr. Hidalgo,
can they be drinking beer?
Oh my god, zombies that are going beer instead of brains.
Beer.
Beer zombies would be fantastic. I would watch that movie in a second. Where's George Romero when you need him?
Beer zombies are like, isn't that what we are?
I was gonna say it's just a bunch of frat dudes.
It's a bunch of frat dudes with their 3 polo shirts on and their collars flipped up.
So many popped collars.
Oh man! So should we give this a rating?
We should.
We were talking about this wonderful beer.
Got through aroma and we gave up, but that's a good beer, man. That's a good beer.
I like it a lot.
I love you, Jenny.
Jenny. All right, so
life is like a box of chocolates.
I'm giving this a 4.
I was at 4 1/4. I'm surprised you're going lower than me. I thought you liked dark beer.
Dude, that milk mustachio blew my mind.
Pistachio, I've got it on order now, and I don't even like dark beer, but I just want some delicious chocolate milk to sip while I'm sitting on my computer.
By the way, I'm ordering this Pico Pack another time.
Yeah?
Yes, I'm totally ordering this again.
I'm going 4 1/4, and I'm doing that because I really like it. I like it better than any IPA I've had except the NB30 so far.
Oh, even more better than the Stingray IPA?
I do. I like it better than the Stingray. This is a delicious, and it could be because it's cold out, it's gotten dark, and so it's almost heavier feeling. Well, it's got to be. It's almost 9% alcohol, and it's
this beer
thick and velvety.
This beer would be great if you were to add,
belly.
well, yes, in my belly, but also if you were to add a little bit of pumpkin to it.
Pumpkin.
And that's like some people are like,
David F.
shut
Pumpkin?
up, you just lost all credibility. Don't pumpkin a beer. But
Can you put the David S. Pumpkin music in? Please.
I'm David S. Pumpkin. I'm gonna put that in the background.
Oh my god, dude. If David S. Pumpkin can pop up behind us right now, you're getting a raise. I mean, you're going from $0 to a penny.
$0.
So delicious beer. I'm 4 1/4. You're still 4. I won't talk you up. It's cool.
No, I'm 4. I think
This is worth ordering. We've done a few dark beers, unlike any we've tried. It has some similar immediate flavor that hits your tongue of some of the dark beers we've done, but then the hop cuts through it, and to me makes it more interesting. Not as delicious, not as purely drinkable as the milkshake of your milk mustachio.
So yeah.
And we've almost forgotten Denny Kahn. He's like the old girlfriend that
No, like Denny Kahn is still like, I know I didn't.
Imperial Porter,
but
vanilla,
God,
bourbon, Imperial
See,
Porter.
the thing is, though, is like the old girlfriend that needed so much extra commitment.
Oh my God. She was high maintenance.
She was the high maintenance because
Denny Kahn,
you had
vanilla bourbon, Imperial Porter Stout is high maintenance.
But it's kind of worth it though. It's like dating that like 10 supermodel. That's like,
but Milk Mustachio was the easy. Just hey. Looks great. Ponytail, glasses. I'm in. Let's go. We don't have to get fancy.
Looks great all the time.
All the time. No makeup.
Yeah.
It's just good, delicious. What are we doing?
Well, this is good. Like, so if we go to a restaurant or a bar.
We know what's great during the Me Too movement. Objectify everything around women. Hey, let's compare this to a theme. We're pure dicks.
I mean, if we were gay dudes, we probably would be comparing them to the same thing, right?
So you would think of a high maintenance. Who's the guy who plays Thor?
Chris Hemsworth.
And totally, he's all shaved and super cut, and he looks like that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, but then you got the Milk Mustachio, which is his brother, who's in Liam, who's in Hunger Games, who looks just almost as good, but also looks good in glasses.
I was gonna compare one. One's more like, boy, if it was still the Twilight times. One's an Edward and one's what was the other guy?
Edward, really?
What?
Other guy? Oh, Jacob.
Jacob. One was Edward and one's Jacob. Neither one to my taste, let me point out. But one was a high maintenance, purely waxed, pretty boy dresses nice, and the other one just walked out of the woods. But damn, I'm sorry, we've lost all listeners.
Yeah, that would have worked.
This is my Jacob.
That would have worked.
This is my Jacob.
That's your Jacob?
Yes.
All right.
There. Can we please not be lambasted for being complete male chauvinism?
This is a good beer. If I go to a bar and order this,
I'm gonna pour
if
some
this
more
is the
Jacobs
first,
right now.
yeah, if this is the first beer I order, I'm probably not switching up the rest of the night. Like if the waitress comes back or waiter and they go, "Do you want another one?" I'm just like, yes.
Bring me another one.
So that's, I think, a pretty good ringing endorsement of where we think this one came in.
I do. So don't forget, you want one of these cool tap rooms that I'm just pouring these beers out of, subscribe on YouTube to the Pico Dudes. Subscribe on YouTube to taproom.club. And you will be automatically entered, as long as you have subscribed to both, in a drawing for one of these taproom.clubs.
That is one entry.
Shipping paid by Taproom. Did you check with Ketchu? Is that within the continental U.S.?
If he doesn't pay it, I'll pay it.
Woo! Big balla. That raise is going to come through.
It's going to cost like $25.
And don't forget, we are on Patreon. We'd love your support. And any of our Patreon subscribers will also get an entry. And if they have subscribed on YouTube and Taproom, well, then they'll get a second entry for being a Patreon subscriber.
Oh, cheesy.
Thank you very much. Is there anything else we should say other than...
Pico Dudes, out.